Welcome to the cross in the desert, speaking hope and freedom to Iran. I'm your host, Randy L. Noble, and I want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your busy lifestyle to visit me on my program. Tonight I have a very, very special program I want to talk to you about. Just recently, there has been a very important, popular, yet controversial Facebook page called My Stealthy Freedom. And what this page is about, it's a page about the hijab. It shows many, many photographs and stories of Iranian women who are willing to risk lashing and imprisonment and fines to display themselves not wearing the hijab. And I want to talk to you tonight about this very important page, which I fully support as a human rights activist for Iran. This is a very common, ordinary scene that you see every day in Iran. This is an Iranian woman being followed by an officer from the Ghastair Shah. Here is another picture you see, a very common scene. This is a very upset, angry Iranian Muslim woman who is being confronted by a female and male officer from the Ghastair Shah. And really, for those Iranians that live there, they know this all too well. It's called the morality police. They patrol the streets every day looking for violators of the Islamic dress code. And what that means is that women and men, but I'm focusing on women, have to dress a certain way. And they've had to dress this way since 1979, 35 years ago, when the Shah left Iran and Khomeini came into power promising freedom and democracy, and instead more and more bondage came to Iran. And since 1979, the woman has had to wear dark clothing, a chador, a hijab. She has to be covered or veiled. Now, in the former Pahlavi society or dynasty, the Shah, his father, outlawed the wearing of the hijab, and so there was no such thing for its citizens to have to be wearing a hijab. When Khomeini took power in 1979, that was all reversed, and since then there has been no freedom for Iranian women living in the nation of Iran. And particularly, as the photographs I showed you demonstrate, the hijab is the most important thing that they must wear. If a woman goes out with an improper hijab, in other words, it's showing too much hair, or if she goes out with fingernail polish, excessive makeup, or she's showing too much skin, the morality police will come to her and confront her. And usually you see a female officer with a walkie-talkie and a male officer close by. And they drive a van, and of course it's green and white. And this is so humiliating to women. And most of my Iranian friends will tell me stories that when they see the Ghastair Shah out on patrol, they literally run the other way to get as completely far away from them as possible. In most instances, what happens is the violator is put in the van, either arrested or fined, and the family has to come to the police station and pay a substantial bail to get their daughter out. Well, this goes on every day in Iran. And there was an Iranian journalist who used to live there. Her name is Masih Alanjad. One day on her page, she displayed herself without the hijab, not living in Iran, but just showed a photograph of her without the hijab. And the Iranians that followed her on this page sent her a message saying, "Oh, we envy you, Masih. We would love to do the same." And she answered them by saying, "Look, you take off your hijab and send me a photograph. I'll keep your identity, of course, secret." And since she suggested this, this page has exploded into popularity. It's like a new hijabless revolution has been created through Masih Alanjad. And now there's a page on Facebook called My Stealthy Freedom for Iranian Women. And it's an amazing page, and there's been over 200,000 likes and hit on this page. What I like so much about this page is that you see not only the pictures of Iranian young women, but you also get a story. They write a little story about what they're doing, explaining their experience. And before I show these really important photographs, I want to tell you something about the book I wrote on this subject, The Rose of Nowruz, Dreams of Hope and Freedom. Literally, in this book I wrote for my Iranian friends just about 2 years ago, it's the story of the Ghasstir Shah, the morality police, apprehending women who don't have proper hijab on. And this story, The Rose of Nuruz, is about a particular character named Behera, who after seeing what fear and oppression her friends are suffering under because of the Iranian regime, she stands up for their freedom. She stands up as an activist and becomes that strong central person. She went from a shy, very unevasive person to a confrontational person. So my book, The Rose of Nuruz, is dedicated to the freedom of all women in Iran. And I just wanted to point that out to you. But what I want to do right now is show you them. This Cross in the Desert video program is not about me. It's about these Iranian women. And so I want to put them on display for you, literally. I have some photographs here I want to share with you and read their stories. This is one of my favorite pictures. I want you to see this. This is an Iranian young lady, very, very daring to do this. So courageous, standing in front of the Azadi Towers without her hijab. Just get a good look at that. Look at the delight and the joy on this lady's face. You have to understand, this couple of minutes of freedom is so precious to them. So very, very precious. Here is actually what the official page looks like. Stealthy freedom of Iranian women. You'll get a kind of a look at it. There's a picture of a lady without her veil with some kind of silk scarf. It's kind of a tribute to what they're doing. They're dangling this silk scarf by them. I really, really like that. And another great picture. This one really captures my attention. I want you to see this one. Look at this beautiful Iranian lady. With this silk scarf above her head, she looks like a stealth fighter just soaring through the sky of freedom. She removed her hijab, and what an exhilarating feeling she has at that moment. Just one of my favorite pictures of all. And this gets a look at the article written about the Stealthy Freedom Girls. If you can just take a moment to look at this one. This was one of the first pictures when I discovered this subject right here of this Iranian lady. And this one is got a story behind it. I'm going to read after I show it to you. This is a lady in her car with her husband, and they discussed taking on the hijab, and they did, and she had this photograph taken of her. These are amazing, courageous ladies. My hat's off to them, literally, for the bravery and the courage. This last lady you saw, I want to read her story. She's writing this to Masih Elanjan. She says, "Dear Masih, hi. Thank you for creating a page that has given us a chance to be seen both by the people of Iran and the people of the rest of the world. I, like most of the rest of this generation, wish not only for the day when I'll have freedom of clothing, but also for the day when Iran will be a free country in general. These chains we bear are never something we have chosen ourselves. Today, on Tehran-Karaj Highway, my husband and I decided that I should take my scarf off, and I decided to keep a record of that moment by taking a photo. I hope we can one day, not so far from now, take a photo of the whole nation's freedom." What a beautiful story this is. Let's take a look at this brave woman again who wrote this short story to Masih. Just beautiful. I have another story here as well. It says, "I grew up in a strict and religious family. When I turned 18 and entered university, I started taking my scarf off whenever it was possible. If my scarf ever fell off my head, I pretended I was unaware of it and let it stay like that for a few minutes. So I have experienced it hundreds of times, but here, the pleasure the wind gave to my whole body and soul was so strong that this moment became the most memorable experience of stealth freedom. After this day, I began to take my scarf off every time I was sitting in the car or doing shopping." And that's another beautiful story. The experience. She said, "I've had that stealth freedom, that feeling, that oneness with the wind and nature when I took my scarf off. Exhilarating feeling." Now, I want you to remember the photograph I showed you of the lady in front of the Azadi Towers right here, if you can see it a little bit closer. She wrote a story. This one's a little bit longer, but it's worth taking the time to listen to. This lady writes, I love running, cycling, mountain climbing, and any other activity you may think of. In the summer, when I go cycling in parks, and sometimes I go to climb the nearby hills. At the beginning, I was scared to take my share of freedom, too. I was taught to be covered in the hijab since I was a little kid. When I grew up a bit, I began to be less religious, till I finally lost my whole belief in hijab. I could not accept that my hair could make men sin and lose their faith, unless they had a sick heart, in which case, I thought, they needed to seek remedy in their own souls, and not in making us keep covered. At the beginning, not wearing hijab was not easy for me. Habits make it difficult for me to show up without hijab, even in front of my brothers-in-law. They did not believe in hijab. I did not either, but still, I was scared. I was even scared to choose a profile picture in which I was not wearing the hijab for my Facebook profile. Whenever I went out for cycling, the looks strangers and the sick-hearted men gave me frightened me. I hated the looks the women in chadors gave me. Whenever I saw revolving lights or people dressed in uniform, I would think it was the police and began to shake with fear. But with every step I took in this way, I gained more courage. And when you get courageous enough, less people let themselves bother or insult you. We are still a long way from freedom. Freedom is not just removing the hijab and cycling peacefully, but at least this way we can make sure we have not lost our freedom because of our own cowardice. Let's not forget about our happiness and freedom for the sake of some ill-hearted people. Let's remove the mental and cultural obstacles. Let's use every opportunity we get to use our natural rights. Let's do whatever we can in this way with the hope of greater freedoms. I love what this woman says. You know, she's saying, what is with men? It's my fault if you're aroused by my hair? If I don't have a hijab on, it's my fault? No, it's your fault. You're the one with the problem. And oh gosh, she is so absolutely right about this. I am so tired of the bondage, the frustration, and the fear these women have to live under every single day. And let me just say to you, I fully support my Stealthy Freedom. Their pictures and stories are on my Facebook page, and they're going to stay there. This page is gaining popularity as well as controversy. There are hardliners that protested in Iran just the other day, in Tehran, calling on the government to enforce their law upon these women and make them submit to the hijab. Look, just like this lady says it's not my fault if men have a problem with the way I look, that I have to wear a hijab to keep them from sinning, they got the problem. She's so absolutely right. These precious, dear Iranian women have the right, and should have the right, to go anywhere they want, dressed anywhere they want. The hijab should be optional. It should never, ever be forced. And you know what I want to do right now? I want to read to you from my book, The Rose of Nowruz, because it's so important. We've looked at these pictures, but I think what these Iranian women want to say to you and me once and for all is, my identity is not in my hijab. I am a woman of worth and value without the hijab. I want you to see me without this veil. I am more than what I wear. Thank God for these courageous ladies who risk arrest, lashing, imprisonment, fine, but they're taking a stand for the precious gift of freedom, which is a God-given gift. And what I want to do for you right now is read from my book, The Rose of Nowruz. This has been posted many times on my page, but I dedicate this proclamation to every Iranian woman, every young Iranian woman, every old Iranian woman who supports my Stealthy Freedom. This is what I want to say to them. This is them speaking to you and me. I want you to listen. I am a woman. I am more than just a veil. I am more than what I wear. I am someone. Someone who has the right to speak her mind, the right to be heard, the right to pursue her dreams, the right to be respected, and the right to be treated as an equal. I have the right to live as I choose, the right to pursue my dreams, and the right to be happy. God has given me all of these rights, and no man or government can take these rights away from me. I am a woman, and I proclaim my right to be free. From my book, The Rose of Nowruz. This program tonight is very special and dear to my heart. I talk to my Iranian friends every single day, and I want to close with a story my friend from Shiraz, who goes unnamed for security reasons, shared with me in light of my stealthy freedom. I had a posting on my Facebook page of a video of my wife and I on a beach at the ocean in Alabama. And she looked at this video, my friend in Shiraz, and saw Becky in her swimsuit and enjoying the ocean waves on her feet, walking up and down the beach. And my friend says, Randy, when I looked at this video, I envisioned myself there with you and Becky. In the wind, my hair was flowing. I could feel the ocean waves tickling my bare feet. She says, I want so much to do what your wife Becky did. She didn't have a veil on her hair. She had a swimsuit, and she was absolutely enjoying that moment at the ocean. I listened to my friend almost in tears when she shared this story. Let me tell you something. You are welcome on my Facebook page. If you want to post your photographs of being without a veil, I ask you to come to my Facebook page and do it. And I promise you I will show every single one, to show my Iranian friends and my friends here in America what it means to be a woman in Iran, to be totally free. So please do that. You're my guest on my Facebook page, Randy L. Noble, N-O-B-L-E. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to this most important program on my stealthy freedom. God bless you. I will see you on the next Crossing the Desert. Have yourself an incredible week.